The long game, Jezebel's strategy of seduction over time. She doesn't always strike fast. Sometimes, she waits months, even years until you're at your weakest. The spirit of strategy, not just seduction. Jezebel isn't always loud, dramatic, or instantly obvious. Sometimes, she plays the long game watching, waiting, studying. Her power doesn't lie in speed. It lies in patience. She doesn't need to seduce you quickly. In fact, she'd rather wait until your heart is cracked, your confidence shaken, and your discernment dulled. That's when she slides in, not as a lover but as a rescuer, a healer, a divine counterpart. But it's all calculated. Nothing about Jezebel is coincidence. She watches quietly from the sidelines. Long before she enters your life in full force, she's been observing from the shadows. Jezebel might appear as a distant friend or social media connectio, someone who checks in once in a while, a former fling or admirer who never really disappeared, a quiet follower of your work, presence, or energy. She's gathering data, your heartbreaks, your patterns, your emotional needs. And once the storm hits your life, whether it's grief, burnout, or betrayal, that's her cue to move in, striking when the soul is weary. Why does she wait? Because weakened light is easier to manipulate. You might have once seen her red flags. You might have been too strong to entertain her before. But after life has softened you, humbled you, or broken something inside, that's when she steps in with false comfort, offering nurturing that feels safe but is laced with control. Shared trauma, bonding through wounds to gain sympathy and closeness. Sexual or spiritual chemistry, playing the "we were always meant to reconnect" card. Premature promises, speaking the language of soulmates, twin flames, or destines too soon. It feels fated, but it's actually timed. The gradual ensnarement, she builds trust in small doses. She's patient with your walls because she plans to own what's behind them. Over time, you begin to rely on her, trust her advice, confide in her, share secrets, and the deeper the access, the stronger the hold. Eventually, she introduces jealousy, manipulation, and guilt slowly. By then, she's already tied herself into your energy system. You start to doubt yourself. Is she toxic? Or are you just scared to love again? That confusion, that's the spell. The power of her patience. This is why the Jezebel spirit is so dangerous in long-term manipulation, because it doesn't rush. It plays the nurturing friend until the perfect window opens. It never storms the gate. It waits until you open it yourself, exhausted and looking for refuge. That's when she walks in, not to love, but to reign. And often, by the time you realize the truth, you're already entangled emotionally, sexually, energetically, or worse, spiritually compromised. Breaking the long game loop. If you suspect you've been the target of Jezebel's long game, here's how to break free. Review old connections that suddenly reappear in your low seasons. Watch who suddenly becomes overly available after your heart breaks. Pay attention to love that feels too perfect when you're too broken. Trust the delay if they waited years to love you. Ask why now. Cut energetic cords fast. Do it spiritually and physically. And most importantly, don't confuse timing with truth. Just because she showed up when you needed someone doesn't mean she was sent by God. The real lesson: your light was always worth the wait. Jezebel played the long game because your light was always powerful. Your mission, your energy, your anointing, it was worth stalking. But now that you see it clearly, you win not by fighting but by walking away with awareness. She bet on your weakness, but underestimated your awakening. And once you reclaim your timeline, her game ends, for good.